Hello. So today we'll see the latest updates on S386 bill, the most controversial bill. Let's have a short recap on what this bill is really about. So currently, for people who are applying for green card, there is an um, annual cap on the issuance of the green card for each and every country of 7%. Like suppose just for an example, if 100 vacancies are available, PRs are available for that year, and 10 people apply from India, 10 people apply from China, and just 3 people apply from Ethiopia. So out of the 100, only 7 PRs are allocated for India, China, and Ethiopia. So out of the 10 applicants from India and China, only 7 gets their PR based on the priority basis, whereas from Ethiopia, all 3, whoever has applied, gets gets their PR. So the rest of the 3 from India and China are still on hold. They are on waiting list, waiting for their priority date. So this was considered unfair by the group of senators or whoever is funding the particular S386 bill. So they try to make some changes to the bill. So the most significant change that is about to be introduced in the bill S386, which is the Fairness for High Skilled Immigrants Act of 2019, is the removal of the country cap limit of 7%. So it's like, irrespective of the place of birth, everybody should come in accordance to the priority date. Like it should not be like Ethiopia, all 3 of them will get it, but 3 from India and China are still on waiting list, though they have been waiting for a very long time. So it's an act to safeguard the highly skilled immigrants, which is they who are getting discriminated because of their place of birth. So that was the main intention behind the bill. So now that we fairly have an idea on what this bill is all about, let's see what are the current happenings with the bill and what are the steps involved in this bill becoming the law, so that it will be implemented and various entities will get benefited out of it. So it's a multi-step process before this particular bill becomes a law. So the first thing is it has to get passed in the House. Next step is it has to get passed in the Senate. And once these 2 things are done, this has to be signed by the President of the United States so that this becomes a law. So this bill already is passed in the House. It is yet to be passed in the Senate. So there are few complications with this bill being passed in the Senate. So as you see in the slide, Mike Lee, he's the senator of Utah State, and he is the person who is proposing this bill in the Senate for a long time. And the next person, Dick Durbin, he is the senator of Illinois State, and he is the person who is opposing this bill, and he is wanting to propose a new bill which will, from his perspective, will benefit many other people. So let's not get into the details of the changes which Durbin proposes. Look, there are talks on a possible deal or a compromise between both the senators to pass this bill. It was about to be proposed on the Senate floor last week, but looks like Mike Lee did not propose it last week. And this week is the Christmas week, and next week it'll all be the New Year hangama. and looks like this will be proposed on the Senate floor sometime later towards the end of January 2020. So let's see what are the proposed changes or the deal that has come between Mike Lee and Durbin. Let's see few of the proposed major changes which would benefit a larger number of people. So one of the major proposed changes which has likely come to a deal between Lee and Durbin is the application of I-485 form before even the priority date is current. So initially or currently what's happening is until the priority date comes as current, the person with the approved I-140 cannot apply for I-485, which would give an authorization for employment, or in turn it'll issue an employment authorization document to the person who is on waiting list for the PR. Before getting the PR, this is the first step. It is the application of I-485 form, which would relieve the person from the employer. They can switch the employers in this case. So what the proposed changes between the likely proposed changes between the Durbin and Lee deal is that this I-485 can be filed even before the priority date is current. That is, if you have an approved I-140, then immediately you can start filing for I-485, which would in turn give you an EAD document with which it will be stamped for 3 years, the document with which you can switch employers, and you need not be like H1, you need not be tied to a single employer. So in case if you want to do change the employer, you need not apply for any transfer like you have to do in H1. So this is like almost like holding a PR, but this has a validity end date. So this is the major change that has come with the deal. There are other likely deal changes in the S386, but I will not be covering all those things here. There are few updates for the rest of the world in the increase of their percentage for the waiting list for the next 9 years. I'll not be going into details of these things because I'm concentrating more on the possible outcomes for Indian and Chinese PR waiting list because they are the most affected. Hope this video was informative. If you like it, please subscribe, comment your opinion in the link below. Thank you. Thanks for listening.